They say there is such a thing as having too much of a good thing, and that idea even applies to exercise. It is possible to have an exercise addiction. In fact, a medically reviewed article on Healthline defines an exercise addiction as an unhealthy obsession with physical fitness and exercise, and often a result of body image disorders and eating disorders. It's important to note this idea is relatively new in the wellness world, and there is more research that needs to be done. But Studio 5 fitness contributor Emily Nelson wants to help you avoid unhealthy exercise habits before they form. She joins me with ways to ensure you are listening to and loving your body. It's great to see you.
So good to see you.
And you want to add that an exercise addiction can lead to overtraining syndrome as well. In fact, a medically reviewed article by Very Well Fit describes it as a condition where you feel extreme fatigue, mood changes, sleep disturbances, and other issues as a result of training too hard or too long without the appropriate rest. And this is an interesting one, Emily, because I think if we were to look at the obesity rates, or if we were to look at, America at large, most of us could exercise more.
Yes.
But tell me why this idea of exercising too much is a topic you wanted to bring to the spotlight.
Yeah, because I think for people that love exercise, it can be a very slippery slope.
Okay.
And because people, and I'm gonna say like me, that love to exercise and work out, I was talking among my peers to get a lot of feedback about this, is we love the endorphins. I talk about it on this show all the time. We love the way it makes us feel. Movement is medicine. I talk about that. But what can happen is sometimes in certain people, and the more you get into it, the more you think you need to do, and it becomes a slippery slope, and we stop from going the mental of, I want to be heart healthy, I want to be strong, I want to be able to do the things I can with my grandchildren, my children, starts to head into an obsession and an unhealthy behaviors of becoming too much and fixating on more and more and more. And that's why we just want to stay in check on the mental side of exercise.
And you told my producer you have to do that personal check often. As a fitness instructor, as someone who built, a business, a profession on exercise.
Yeah, I was sitting here and I'm like, they're going to be like, hello, Emily, the pot calling the kettle black.
No. But you described that so well, and your words were spot on in that any addiction, I mean, pick your poison, literally. Any addiction starts from a point of pleasure. It starts from a good feeling, and exercise brings a good feeling. So you described that slippery slope, I think, very appropriately.
Yeah, and so for someone who's like an athlete or owns a fitness business, a fitness instructor, there's a point where you have a training schedule that can lead to overtraining, right? Like that's part of it. But it comes back that when that overtraining kind of stops and you have that rest, where does your mental go? I've spoken to an athlete who said, I trained as a track star forever, 2-a-day workouts. Suddenly, I thought I had to do 2-a-day workouts because that's what I had to do. And she had to retrain her mental side. No, I don't need to do that. That's not actually healthy for my body. And it's checking in with the mental side of it.
Even outside of the fitness realm or the athletic sphere, I could see, the mom that wants to get in that exercise 5 days a week, and you miss a day and suddenly that leaves you a little anxious. I can totally see that happening.
Absolutely. And it's hard because, and that's why we have a few questions we're gonna go over, because what happens is it's like, okay, is that because it makes you feel good? Because I'll be honest, when I miss my workout, I just don't feel as good, right? And there's that, or is it the guilt and the shame, or I'm gonna gain weight, I'm gonna just end this like spiral, and that's when it's like, oh wow, that's kind of an unhealthy mental place to be, and a bit of a prison, if I'm being honest. It like, I don't want people to feel that way, but I know it's so common.
So easy to
which is
get
why
there.
I want to talk about it.
You've thoughtfully created, as you mentioned, these 4 questions that we can ask ourselves to make sure we aren't overtraining, or we aren't, like you said, slipping into the prison, the mental unhealthfulness of it. The first question, do you exercise to burn off food or to punish yourself for foods eaten?
Yeah, so I think this is like the number one, and I've talked about this on here, is keeping food and exercise as separate entities, because when one is working off the other, it becomes unhealthy, and so when you're punishing yourself through your workouts, you're taking away what a workout should be doing to your body, and it becomes an obsession, right? Like, I have to do this, or I can't eat this, or I ate this, so I have to do this. And that just becomes an unhealthy relationship with fitness.
I mean, the most maybe blatant and obvious example, I think of Thanksgiving, where people, often say, I have to run that turkey trot so I can enjoy Thanksgiving, which arguably is an indulgent meal, but we should be able to enjoy that guilt-free, is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely, and for me, for example of maybe a healthier mindset, I love to move on Thanksgiving morning because it like opens up my gut and makes my gut feel better, my stomach, so I can eat more. Like, not not in a bad way, but like I just feel better, and so I'm more mindful in my choices.
Right.
And so it's okay that you want to move and you want to work out, but it's when it's like this give or take, it really is hard place to be in. And I think that people that are there, like, I want them to know that there's help out there and that there can be a different way to approach exercise.
I'm so glad you pressed that clarification. We're not taking away the movement. It becomes the mental motivation behind the movement. Question number 2, how long are your daily workouts? Are they excessive in length? What would you define as excessive? This might be different for every person.
I don't think I can really say, but I think when it comes to a point where you have to hit a certain amount of hours or minutes, or it is just unacceptable,
like
and
it's prescribed.
It's prescribed, and it's an obsession. That's when you know, okay, this is not okay, because some days I challenge yourself to only do 30 minutes, to only do 20 minutes, and be okay with that. Less can be more, and also what happens is the more fit you get, you can do more and more and more. So the more you do, your brain starts to tell you, I have to do 2 hours or it's not enough. No, exercise, I'm gonna say this is what I want you to follow rule. Exercise should fit into your life. Your life should not revolve around your exercise schedule. And that's how you should approach it.
Question number 3, do you panic if you don't exercise for a certain number of hours each day? Question number 4, do you allow yourself to listen to your body and respond accordingly with exercise or rest days?
Yeah, be okay with rest days. And I'll be honest, with someone, like I said, who exercises a lot, that's something I've had to really train myself, and it's a mental game of being like, yes, I'm gonna own this, I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna feel good, I'm gonna take a day off. And that's not just, I'm not just saying just on Sundays. I mean, there's times where I have my girls' dance recitals and I'm running from thing to thing, and I don't get a workout in, and guess what? I'm gonna be okay with that. That's not gonna derail any goals if you just keep a healthy perspective to where you're going.
I saw this in your notes, and I thought this was an interesting point. We often talk to your friend, my friend, our coworker, Mickey Eberhardt, the Studio 5 health contributor, about intuitive eating. You say intuitive exercise has a place in this conversation.
Yeah, it's listening to your body and like, what do I need this week? Like, I'm feeling really run down. What would energize me? And maybe that is like jumping in, you know, a group fitness class because I need someone else to energize. Or maybe it's a very quiet, like meditation or a yoga class, like listening to your body. And I think people would be surprised if they actually were like, what do I feel like doing today? Sometimes we have to force ourselves, you know, to do, to get out there. But I think listening to our body at the same time is so important. I think we are such creatures of habit. We don't even know how to break out of it. And I just like this whole topic. I love talking about it because I don't want anyone to feel like guilt or shame. Like, I was actually going through this with my cousins, my friends, and we're like, yes, yes, yes to the questions on the paper. In a way, and being like, okay, yeah. And it's not like you've completely gone, but it's like, okay, wow. So what does that mean? And okay, but I do feel like I have a good check on it, you know, and just
a pulse.
A pulse, and like, okay, where does that lie? Because
I appreciate your personal vulnerability and also just your personal openness to the topic, and I think it speaks to every woman out there. And more so getting to the root of why we're doing what we're doing, why we're moving,
the why,
and celebrating that why. You're awesome. Thank you so much for pointing us in the right direction. And we will post this conversation on social media and on our website if you feel it might be helpful to motivate a woman you know and love as well. I love that, Emily. Thank you.